Let us try to solve the exercise number 8 in the part A of Java lab. In this exercise, we are going to add, remove, and display elements of a vector. So we need to create a vector object, and then we need to perform the operation on this vector object. So let's go ahead and let's create a new project in Java. I'm going to go and say file, new project. Under and I'm going to select the Java application, and then I'm going to say vector operation. You can give any name, vector operation, and then I'm going to click finish. NetBeans will create a main class for me, and I'm going to use the same class, and I don't need this remark statement right at the beginning, so I'm going to just remove it. And also I'm going to remove this to do. Let me go ahead and let's try to create a few things over here. So let's perform the vector operation. First of all, we need to create a vector uh, object as such. So we have to have a vector object, as well as we need to insert and delete the vector at the elements of the vector at from the particular location. So let's go ahead and let's begin our project. And in any case, we need a scanner object because we are going to read something from the keyboard. So I'm going to just type CANN. I'm going to just press Control Space, and the NetBeans will add the import statement for me. And I'm going to say scanner in is equal to new scanner, and I'm going to use the input stream, and I'm going to say system, and I press Control Space, press enter, and then I'm going to say in. So this is my scanner object. Now when we create the vector object, there are two ways in which you can create the vector object. Let me just create a vector object for you. So you say vector, and NetBeans will say I didn't get what is that vector. If you press Control Space, and nothing is going to happen, so I'm going to just say vector, and let's say v is equal to new vector. So you notice that this time NetBeans has understood, and it's going to say that implements a growable array of objects, and I'm going to use vector and press enter. There are two ways in which there are many constructor for it. The default constructor does not take any parameter, and either you can give a collection, or you can say the capacity, and you can say the initial capacity and the capacity to be incremented, and so on and so forth. If you just press enter, it is going to create a the vector with the default constructor. Now one thing you must notice is the vector is available under system.utility.vector. So if you are writing it in Notepad, you have to import this particular line in order for you to use this vector. So you can create the vector without the specifying the any values. Now, when I want to create a vector, I assume that the vector will contain some n number of elements. Let me assume that there are n number of elements are there in the vector. So let me create an integer variable n, and I'm going to use yes out, and I'm going to say enter the initial size, enter the initial size of vector, definitely of vector. I'm going to say that. Now I don't want I'm going to put one extra space here. I don't want print ln because I don't want it to go to the next line. Let it come in the same line, and I'm going to press enter here, and I'm going to say n is equal to, in is my scanner object, you know very well, and I'm going to say next integer, and I'm going to read n elements into this particular uh, array as the vector as such. So I'm going to say, how do you insert the element? So it is a simple idea. We are going to just to say, remember there is a other way around is you can create the vector. This is one way of creating vector. The other way of creating vector is once you know how many elements will be there, you can say n here. So that is the initial capacity. Okay, you can specify the initial capacity and then say there are n number of vectors, or you can just say, let me try this way around. One and the same, you create a blank vector without giving anything. You create a vector and then you specify the add the element. Remember, it is a growable array. That's vector is nothing but a growable array. So you can keep on adding the elements. So I'm going to use one sout statement over here, and I think I can use my favorite printf statement here rather than this one. And I'm going to say what you can say, enter percentage d elements into vector. Okay, so what is this percentage d is n. So in other words, enter n elements into vector. So this is simple as that. So this percentage d will be replaced by n. So if n is 5, it is going to say enter 5 elements into vector. So simple as that. So it looks beautiful. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's press enter here, and you can if you want, you can put one space, one colon, and the space like how I've done here. You can put some one space here to just make it look beautiful. That's it. Okay, so then let's start reading it one after the other. I'm going to use a for loop. So for I is equal to 1, I less than n, not the other thing, I less than I equal to 0, I less than n, and I'm going to just start reading an element into the vector. So you have the vector v here. Okay, v is your vector. And how do you add new elements into the vector? The word itself says you just use the add to add the object. And which object are you going to add? It is not I that I'm going to add. I'm going to call this in. What is this in, by the way? In is nothing but the scanner object. You know that. So scanner is going to, it is like your scanf statement in your C program. So in dot, I'm going to say next integer. Simple as that. Okay. And those who are not very familiar, just ignore this, what you get in gray color here and here, just ignore it. It is NetBeans way of saying that this is the value for the particular parameter. So I've read n elements into the array. Then the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to use a sout statement, and we are going to say the initial vector is, just to tell you that initial vector is, I'm going to put a colon, semicolon, it's colon, plus the vector. I don't have to type anything. Remember, there is a toString method which is directly available with the vector, which you can use it. I'm going just to compile it, and let me compile it and just build it. I'm going to say clean build it and then just run it. Okay. The older version of the NetBeans will automatically compile it, and the newer version will also do it, but in my case it is not doing. So we have the element here. Enter the initial size. I'm going to say 4 is my size. Initial size of the vector is 4, and it's going to say enter 4 elements into the vector. I'm going to say first element is 10, second element is 20, third element is 30, fourth element is 40. I press enter, and it is going to say initial vector is this, is your initial vector. Okay, so this is what is your program is doing. But that is not the end of the story. The story continues, and what does the story says is that we are supposed to add, we have already done that, and remove the element and display the vector. We have done two parts, adding and deleting. We have already done it, but we will do the next way of adding it. You can actually insert the element, unlike your the array. Let me go back here. Unlike your array, you can directly insert an element anywhere. At a particular location or particular position, you can insert an element. Let me show that also here. So how do I say that thing? I'm going to say which is the element that you want to insert. One more time. So let me zoom in for you, and I'm going to use a S out, and I'm not really interested in println, and I'm going to say enter the element to insert, and I'm going to just put a colon and like this. Okay, and I'm going to read one element. Let me take the element as you can take anything. Let's take element x is my element. I want to insert the element x into the vector. So x is my element, and I'm going to say x is equal to in is my scanner object dot next integer. Okay, next enter. So I've read, but I have to specify the position. Okay, remember this time if you look at the array here, I don't want to add. In the previous case, whenever you add some element, it's going to add at the end. Okay, generally it is going to add. This is called as append. Okay, add at the end, but I want to insert right at the middle. So somewhere I want to insert one element in between. So how do I do that thing? So this is what I'm demonstrating now. So I've asked enter the element. So this is the element, and I have to again ask which is the location where you want to insert it. So again, I'm going to use the S out. Again, I'm not interested in this print ln, and I'm going to say enter the position maybe to be inserted, and I'm going to put a colon and a space here so that it looks beautiful. Let me press enter, and let me take one more variable here. So I have to take one more variable. Let me take that variable as position, POS, as my integer variable. So x is the element and the POS is the position. POS is too much, but anyhow, let's take position. How do you read this position? So I said enter the position to be inserted. So how do you read it? A position is equal to, you know very well, in is your scanner object, and you say give me the next integer. So that's it. So you got the position. Now the question is, how do you insert it? V is your vector, you know very well, and you just say insert element. Okay, so this is it. Insert the element at the given index. No, very important thing. This is index, and if you notice over here, index must be greater than or equal to 0. That means to say that index is going to start at 0. So one less than your position. So you know the story is suppose you have the element 10, 20. Let me put some space here. 20, 30, 40. You say this 10 is at, let me put it in an array. Where is this? Why this box is not coming? Okay. This is the array in which you have all the element, and you know that this is the, generally you say that this is the first location, this is the second element, this is the third, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the array, arrays are using indexes. What is the index? Index is, this is the 0th location, this is the first location, this is the second, and so on. This is the index, not the location. So one less than the position. So I said to give me the position here. So this position, one less than the position. It must be one less than the position. If you say this is the position number 3, I want to insert at the position number 3, but what is the index? Index is one less than the position. That is because you know index is going to start from 0. So simple as that. So I want to insert, don't get confused. First one is the object. That is why the NetBeans is saying that first one is the object. What is the object? I want to insert x. So not the position. X is the object, and what is the index? It is not position. Position minus 1, 1 less than the position. So that is why now you notice that why the NetBeans way of doing it is helpful. So when you do this, it is easier to not to get confused as to whether first one was the position or first one itself is the index, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have done that particular thing. Let me write a S out statement and say that okay, vector after insertion. Let me just show you vector after what is this spelling, after insertion. Okay, just say, and just to make it beautiful, let's say plus v. You don't need to do anything else. Let me compile it and let's see the effect here. I'm going to just build it one more time and then just run it, just to show you how it's going to appear. And I'm going to just run it, right click and just say run this particular file, and you can run the project also because there is only one file in this project. So let's say initial size was 4 as usual. Vector has a 4 size, and let me assume that there are 4 elements are there. First element is 10, next element is 20, third element is 30, fourth element is 45, and now it is saying this is the initial vector is 10, 20, 30, 40. I want to insert at the location number 2. So I want to insert the element 25 at the location, let's say 3 after this. Okay, so let me press enter, and position to be inserted is 3, and after that you notice that what is the difference you will notice here is that the vector is given vector was 10, 20, 30, and I have inserted 25 at this location. When you insert it, 30 has moved to the next location. You know very. When you insert it, the next element has moved to the next position. So this is what you have done. So you have inserted it. In the same way, you have to even remove the element. Okay. Now, to remove the element, you have to just specify. There are two ways in which you can remove the element. One by giving the element itself. The next one is by specifying its index. I'm going to follow the index, and I'm going to remove it. So let me use the S out, and let me zoom in for you. And I don't want ln here again. Okay, and I'm going to just press the here, and I'm going to say enter the position of the element of this what is this element to be removed, element to be removed. Okay, and I'm going to put a colon here so that it looks neat when you see the output. Okay, enter the position of the element to be removed, that is it. And I'm going to read the position again. I'm going to read the position. POS is my position. How do you read it? In dot next int. So this is the location from where I want to remove the element. How do you remove the element? V is your vector, and there are two ways in which you can remove. You can look at here. You can say remove the object itself. That means you specify remove the 10, remove the 20, remove this object itself. Remove the, you can specify remove the 10, remove the 20, and that way you can say. Other way around is let's see. Where is this one? Remove the index at a particular index. I'm going to go with the remove this index, and what is the index location is POS -1. Remember, -1 is one composition. You know very well. Remove at position 1, and I'm going to use the S out again, and I'm not happy with the ln here, and I'm going to say vector after, where is this, after removing or after deletion. Okay, and let's say plus v. Done. So you have done with it. You've done that particular thing, and let's run it for the and let's see what is the output. I'm going to just clean build it, and let's run that particular program, and let's run this program, and let's see what is the output. So we have gone here, and we say what is the initial size is 4, and let's say first element is 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, and I want to insert a element, say 15. Element to be inserted is 15. I want to insert at the second location here. So at the second location I'm inserting it. So 15 has been inserted. You notice that between 10 and 20, 15 has been inserted. Now I'm going to remove the element number 30. Where is position? This is one, second element, third element, fourth element. I want to remove the fourth element. I press enter, and you notice that vector after deletion, the 30 has been removed. 30 has been removed. And if you want to retain that println at the end, if you don't want to see this one, you can make this one as println, because I'm not happy with that ln part of this print. You can make this as println at the end to make it look beautiful. One other thing you will notice here is that you will notice that NetBeans is actually not happy with the way I have declared the vector. Now, if you notice over here, it is saying that it is an obsolete collection. Okay, so what is the thing? And it is just says that okay, use the Alt Enter to get the solution. Now I'm going to just click on here, and it is going to say it is an obsolete collection. Okay, what is it that it is trying to say? I'm going to just press here, and if you press Alt space here, nothing is going to happen. And if I press Control space here, it's going to say that okay, growable array of E here. Okay, what is the meaning of E is it whenever you create a vector, you have to say by default it is a vector of object. You know very well object. I hope you are familiar with that idea of object. Object is that class from which everything is been derived. Okay, so that means to say that this vector, this particular vector can take any type of element. Now, how do I restrict and say that this vector can take only integer? Is by putting this thing in front of it. Remember, this is not required for your examination. If you say that vector inside angle bracket, if you say it is integer, that means to say that I am saying that this is a collection of, or this is a vector of integers. It is not a vector of character. It is not a vector of float. It is not a vector of double, or it is not a vector of employees. It is a vector of a specific type. And when you do it here, you have to do it only also on the other side. Remember, please note, this is not really required for your examination. So you are just saying that it is a collection of a vector. Okay. So now it is saying that replace the explicit thing with the var. I don't want to do that particular thing. Okay, so you can do it this way also for your examination. That's not really required, but you can say that this vector is a collection of a specific type. Why it is required and so on and so forth. If you are really interested, because I don't want to drag your video. See, when you say it is a vector of object, it means anything. When you run the program, is suppose if somebody gives a wrong value, you will end up in trouble. Okay, if you instead of integer, if they give float, also it's going to take. Or if you give a string, also it will take, because everything is an object. Okay, and your program may crash in between if you start doing it. Now, if you notice here, there is no changes as such. Your program will work fine with the same story. I will just quickly do it. You have 4 elements, the same story, 10, 20, 30, 40. I want to insert the element 32 at the location, I think 1 to 3rd location. I think 4th location. So 32 has been added, and I want to remove the first element, and the first element has been removed. Now there is no change as such, but you have just made from the obsolete collection to the specific collection. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you.